What's up, friends, and welcome into Fantasy Pros MLB. This is leading off a new era of leading off, at least through the rest of the season. It is me, Chris Welsh, hosting pretty much through the rest of the season with the great and powerful Joe Orrico rocking, which I like, a very nice Blue Jays hat. I'm rocking Savannah Bananas today, and we got a whole bunch to cover in our first full week of some August episodes and first full week without Joe Pisapia. So we will talk glowingly about Jack Leiter, Michael Harris. All the training wheels are off. We can do whatever we want. Mom's gone. Dad is gone. We can do whatever we've got going down. What's up, Joe Orrico? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really well, man. It's always fun. I did this last year, and I've, periodically been on shows throughout the season, but it's fun, man. It's good when we get to do shows together. You and I have done a lot of shows over the years, so we got a little bit of a shorthand, and now we got Joe Pisapia out of here. We got that cranky old man out of here, so let's have some fun, brother.
Yeah, get all that cranky stuff out of here. Baby Billy asking on the football side how I'm doing. If you did not see it, we dropped over the weekend the hot sauce. It's a hot takes episode where we consumed hot sauce. Me, Bogman, and Andrew Erickson, and it's a pretty decent listen through like 30 minutes. And the last 30 minutes just off the rails. Absolutely off the rails.
Phenomenal episode. It was amazing. I hope we can recreate that on the baseball side. I think we're kind of working through those plans, but if you haven't seen that, like go watch the video. Don't listen to the audio. Watch the video if you can. You're going to laugh your ass off.
We'll do that for sure. We got a lot to cover in the episode. We got a whole weekend going through here. We've also got some giveaways. We mentioned it on the Friday show, on the post-trade deadline show, that we have a new giveaway and we've got to give away that Juan Gonzalez jersey. So I don't know if we want to show it up here. We have a winner, ladies and gentlemen, for the Juan Gonzalez jersey. It is Kelsey Land. How good is Kurtz? Loving it. That was the winning comment, by the way. Well, Kelsey Land, you just won the Juan Gonzalez signed jersey. So all you got to do is email mailbag@fantasypros.com with proof of your subscription to the Fantasy Pros MLB YouTube channel and your mailing address. And boom, you're going to get that bad boy sent to you. But we are not done. Just because Joe's gone doesn't mean that we don't still have amazing gifts. So for the month of August, as mentioned on Friday, let's get that graphic up. We got Billy Wagner. That's right. You can win. This is a pretty awesome jersey. I love the coloring too. Win this Billy Wagner signed jersey. 2 easy steps. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. So anyone that's watching live on the Twitch, you got to go over there. Anyone that's watching after, you're good. So make sure you're subscribed and then comment on a video. And that's it. You are entered in. You got all month long, all the videos. So get going there as we continue to give you awesome gifts and giveaways throughout the baseball season. Billy Wagner is up. All right, let's get to the news and notes. We've got some prospecting today. We've got bets. We've got homers. We got a ton of stuff, but we got some news and some headlines. Let's start with what kind of dominated my weekend. I did some CBS hits, Orrico, this weekend, and both of them back-to-back had a heavy concentration, obviously, because you have like East Coast bias on there, but with this fall apart of the New York Yankees. The Yankees, there's so many steps here. First off, we're just swept by the Marlins. And shocking to me a little bit, by the way, the Marlins have a 500 record. They're 55-55 right now, which is absolutely ridiculous. But they were just swept by the Marlins. In all of that mess, you had them completely blow a game, Orrico, where they had the lead. Every single one of the pieces that they traded for blew the game. Even Jose Cabrera with a error. They lost. Then the next game up, you have more base running errors, Jazz getting tagged up, horrible stuff. And then top it all off, Luis Gil came back on Sunday, gave up 5 runs in 3 3/3. Did not look fantastic in that one. So I guess the first question is do you have any take on the Yankees? We had talked about it on the betting show. I think they're falling apart in a really bad way. And the final piece of it this weekend was Luis Gil, who a lot of us were kind of holding on to, just not having the good version of Luis Gil stuff.
We did a show on Betting Pros last week, and I went out of my way to be like, the Yankees bullpen, Welsh, it's fantastic. What are you talking about? And then
remember when I was like, unquestioned, the Padres is the best. You're like, I don't know, Welsh. You're like, the Yankees, and then bang, bang, boom.
Jeez, it was ugly stuff. Now, the thing with the Yankees is if you look back over any period of time, 2 weeks, a month, 6 weeks, whatever, and you look at how they rate out as, offensively, defensively pitching, the numbers look generally pretty good. It's just these timely errors. And a lot of what I see, I follow some New York. I mean, we all know a lot of people in New York. A lot of them tweet about the Yankees, and they're starting to get to the point where it seems like they all want Aaron Boone gone. The talent on the roster is pretty phenomenal. I don't think anybody can deny that. Judge, Chisholm, Fried, Rodon, all the closers, etc. It seems like they just don't have their head screwed on right. So this doesn't seem like a personnel issue to me. This seems like Aaron Boone is probably done in the offseason if he doesn't figure out how to get them actually focused. Like that Jazz Chisholm play, the pop up to second where he got tagged up on. What is he doing? Like
Awful.
Base cadet behavior. And people are blaming the first base coach. It's like the team is a mess. The team is a mess. The Blue Jays,
Remember the Austin Wells thing too from like a week ago. The Austin Wells thing where he just had the blunder where he was at second, he got tagged up. They got tagged up on a fly ball. He just forgot where it was, or it was a ground ball. I'm sorry. It was like he just forgot where it was. There's mental lapses, and the thing where it becomes like fantasy relevant. And shout out, I know Van Rod's a Yankee. Van Rod just sent some cheers in, which you can do cheering on Twitch, because as a Yankee fan hearing this, that I think Boone his job is going to be really dicey at the end of this year. I'm worried that you have a lot of these pieces that are going to fall apart. And, even looking at Luis Gil for just a second, I'm actually surprised. I thought I was going to see really low zone percentages with his pitches. He was actually 50% or higher on everything. But, dude, they were swinging at nothing outside of the zone. He had a 9% outside the zone swing rate. So everything he was throwing in, they were just offering at. There were really no whiffs. He wasn't getting the type of strikeouts. He was pitching to a lot of contact, sitting 96. I'm not sure, especially with Gil's walk issues, I'm not sure that he's a super viable, trustworthy fantasy option moving forward. So I want to watch before I go nuts, but I'm not a big Luis Gil guy. And I think there's scenarios where I might consider moving on to some other less worthy options. I don't know if you feel like, what kind of leash do you want to give Gil?
I was not a Gil guy at all last year. Like, I feel like every single day I was writing up a sell high on Luis Gil piece just because, the walk rate was high. A lot of the expected numbers were a lot higher than the actual numbers. But I think I want to give him a couple of more starts. Not to say that what we saw yesterday was encouraging, but I think when we see guys return, there can be a week or two where they're still trying to get things right. So his next start is going to come against Houston, and then after that, it's St. Louis. So what I would probably recommend is you leave him on the bench for that Houston one, see if he's able to correct a few things, and then St. Louis is a much more palatable matchup. I think that one I'd be probably willing to use him on August 15th if everything stays according to plan. But right now, I think he's riding the pine until we see him give out some better performances.
You wish he could be who everything Cristopher Sanchez is. I think that was our old hopes. Cristopher Sanchez this weekend, absolutely dominant, 6 strikeouts, 8 innings, shutout ball, does it again. Also, Jhoan Duran closed out the Tigers again on Sunday, worked a perfect 9th inning. He had, I think his very first appearance over the weekend was like a 4-pitch outing. Absolutely looks disgusting right now. Chris Sanchez, top 10 SP rest of season, yay or nay?
Yay. I would say yay. He's an SP 12 to date, and some guys ahead of him are Eovaldi, Matthew Boyd. I could see him making a jump into that top 10. And I mean, next season, I wonder how high he's going to go. Like, he is phenomenal. That changeup, the team context, like I'm in love with Chris Sanchez. He's phenomenal. And I still cannot believe that he was not an all-star.
Yeah, I know. I'm stupid. Do you think there's a scenario where Duran is the number 1 closer in baseball now, because you've got Hader, who's been great. That team's a little washy. Mason Miller with the Padres looks sexy, but you did have like Robert Suarez get some opportunity yesterday. It was a multi-inning thing, but like Duran, yay or nay, top 2 closer in baseball rest of season?
I think he's top 3 or 4. Not to pick nits, but I think for me it's probably Hader and Diaz 1 and 2, and then Munoz, Duran. It's close. Like, he's in that. I think I'd probably have him 3rd if I was going to redo rankings today. I think I'd probably have him 3rd behind Diaz and Hader.
That's where I have him. That's where I have him currently, but I kind of want to put him into one. And it's just such a boost to all these other pitchers. Luzardo been a little but it's like he's going to come in and protect these games. So very, very exciting and very, very good. Jacob Misiorowski, contusion to his tibia, placed on the IL. They are saying that this is going to be like a minimal stint. He's going to miss 2 starts. He's going to come back. But man, like I've been kind of preaching the maybe trade out market. I actually was semi-considering, we did this Betting Pro show on futures. The one thing in that show we didn't talk about that I was kind of sitting on was Jacob Misiorowski Rookie of the Year odds. It was around 2.5 to 1. But you take a couple of these 2 starts out, they're also not letting him go deep into games. This is brutal. For fantasy owners, it's nice that he's only going to miss the 2 and he'll be back. I'm not 100% sure on this. Okay. And Callie just told me, our producer, that the future show is actually dropping today. So you guys can see that where we talk about it. So go to Betting Pros. You can see Orrico, myself, Seth Woolcock. We did a MLB futures for the month of August, talking about, some of our favorite props and World Series and stuff. And I talk about, I don't talk about Misiorowski in there when we were talking about awards, because him not going deep into games worried me. Now you got this contusion, minimal stint, but Logan Henderson was able to come up. He allowed 1 run, 3 hits, and 4 and 1/3 of an inning. Do you think there's a scenario where Henderson can stay up once Misiorowski's up? Or do you think maybe they like do a piggyback situation if they could figure out the roster construction? Maybe you have Miz and Henderson each go 4, because I don't know why Henderson would go back down, but I don't know how much they trust Misiorowski. So do you trust Henderson to get some production rest of season?
Yeah, that's the thing with Henderson. I don't see a reason why they would send him down, but I would have told you the same thing before they sent him down last time, because he had 3 phenomenal starts and they still sent him back. Unless Jose Quintana or Quinn Priester turn into a complete pumpkin and start really giving up a lot of runs, I don't know how this is going to shake out. Now, going to a 6-man rotation might make some sense, just because Quintana is having a good year, but I don't know how much you rely on him. The same kind of thing with Priester. Woodruff coming back from a long layoff and injury. Maybe they do go to a 6-man, plus a couple of rookies there in Henderson and Misiorowski. Maybe they do piggyback them. Maybe they go 6-man. I don't really know, to be honest with you, which I know isn't what the people want to hear, but considering they sent down Henderson before, after he had been perfect through 3 starts, I really don't know how to predict what's going to happen in Milwaukee.
It's pretty tough. I kind of think from a spot start world, I might try to pick up Henderson right now and see what's going on. But I think there's also a possibility, kind of like my thoughts with Misiorowski, that both just eat into each other. Or regardless, when Misiorowski's back, they're going to keep the babying going on. 75 pitches with Misiorowski might not get him to the 5th ever, so you're going to lose wins. You just have some other good counting stats, but that's a brutal one. Couple other pieces here. Dylan Cease was great. 9 strikeouts, 5 innings, no earned runs. God, we've been waiting for this. It's I love the bullpen help for a guy like Cease. Just let him go 5 every single game, get him out of there and go throw to the bullpen, because you got 1,200 amazing relievers. So this is kind of my thought that we could get into this area, but he had to start turning around, and he did, Joe. So I like our confidence level is moving up, right?
Man, I felt like I was going crazy, banging my head against the wall with Dylan Cease, every week saying, stick with him, start him, blah, 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 and getting blown up every single time. But this is why some people will not like it in the comments when we talk about the expected numbers, underlying stats. This is why you do it, because a guy like Dylan Cease, he's still striking out everybody on earth, 30% strikeout rate. The walks aren't too bad. All of the ERA estimators are good. This is a guy you stick with and you buy low on. It's like Pablo Lopez. I think it was last year, maybe the year before, where it started off like a 5 ERA in the first half. All the underlying numbers are good. You got to still believe in those guys, especially when the talent is as high as Dylan Cease. But what I will say is that I think next year he's going to be a great buy, because he kind of does this every other year thing where it's a phenomenal season and then he kind of takes a step back a little bit. You always want to buy the dip on a guy like Dylan Cease for me.
I'm with you. What the hell is wrong with James Wood? What is going on? James Wood, 0 for 3, a walk, 2 strikeouts on Sunday, now hitting 226 in 50 games since June 1st. He's got 8 homers, 32% K percentage, but he's got a 226, 336 slash since June 1st. He has been abysmal. What the hell is wrong with James Wood? Trade deadlines for fantasy they're probably still a little bit this week. A lot of people, wonky. I don't know what's wrong with Woods, but he cost me a lot in our insiders league. That's 100%. James Wood analysis, rookie slump sometimes, which I do kind of agree with. But, the thing that we were really liking with James Wood is his ability to hit all sides of the field, lower the K percentage. K percentage is back up. He's in a horrific slump. What do you think is wrong with James Wood? And is it to the level that you want to get out for whatever you can which is probably still a high-ish enough marker, 24 homers, 14 stolen bases, 258. If someone does peruse his Savant page, they're going to see the red and stuff like that. There's still a lot that's good, but it has been bad since June 1st. So it's either, do you think it is going, right here, Stoney said batting 119 since July 3rd. Do you think it can bounce back so you don't want to sell him low, or do you want to get out before your trade deadlines are done because he's holding down our teams?
No, I think this is a situation where, like a couple of people in the comments have said, he's a rookie. They're going to go through ups and downs. He wasn't going to be, playing at that pace that he was early on for the rest of his career. You're going to see ups and downs, especially for a guy who strikes out as much as James Wood does. He's like a 30% strikeout rate guy. And when you're anywhere in that 28 and above range, you are going to be prone to some cold and hot streaks. Add on to that he is a rookie who's still only played. He's at 188 major league games now. So he's kind of at the point where you're running out of excuses for adjusting to major league pitching and stuff, but not really. He's still so young. James Wood is 22 years old. I think this is just a cold spell. And honestly, I'd kind of be on the other side of those trades. If somebody wants to get rid of James Wood because they think that he's just toast now, I'd be more than happy to buy in on him still.
Would you sell James Wood or Kyle Stowers rest of season? If someone offered you Kyle Stowers for your James Wood, not in Dynasty, just redraft right now, would you do it?
I think I would take Wood. As much as I like Stowers, I don't know how much I believe in the batting average. He's got a 365 BABIP, which I think brings that batting average up a lot more than it should be. He's like a 240, 250 hitter in my mind. I would take James Wood. I would go.
When's he going to be a 240 or 250 hitter? James Wood's a 220 hitter right now. Here's my problem with James Wood. He is not doing anything besides fastballs, and the league is obviously adjusting. He has a 336 average against fastballs. Awesome. Expected batting average against? Same thing, in 300s. Awesome. He's hitting sub 200 against everything else, against breaking pitches, sliders, 206, curveball, 182, changeup, 184, sweepers, 197, split fingers, 158. Everything that breaks that isn't some variation of a fastball, he can't hit right now. And is that going to happen this way through? I actually might take Stowers rest of the way through in redraft. I'm a believer of James Wood as a whole, but he's not, and he's hitting 240 against, I think, lefties and 280 against righties. He hits the ball hard, averages, barrels. He does all that stuff, but he's a one-trick pony right now, and he's going to have to drive counts to fastballs because he's not doing anything else. I'm just not sure, can he break back? Yeah, absolutely. Back half of the year, this could all get back to that awesome, super cool James Wood. I'm just not sure it's there, and I think I might actually take Kyle Stowers rest of the way through, even though I'm an overall believer. I think it's a great time to buy in Dynasty, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I totally get if anybody wants to go with Stowers. I just feel like what we saw with Wood, it's more fantasy projectable, and that's a poor way to phrase it, but he steals bases. I think the power is within the same ballpark. Stowers might have more raw power, but it's 24 homers versus 25 homers for the season. So I think that they're pretty damn close overall for the power metrics. But then you got the speed with Wood. The lineups is probably a little bit better in Miami. I wouldn't fault somebody for going with Stowers. I've become a believer in Wood over the course of the year. It's funny because I was fading James Wood. It was one of my worst calls of the preseason was to fade James Wood. But I think I'm still buying in on him right now if you can. Maybe Stowers is the line where it's, you can go either way on it.
We're going to be answering some questions, so just throwing it out to everybody. If you want to drop any questions in the chat, we're starring some of them. We got a couple things to hit you first, so make sure you stick around, whether it's you're watching on the video side or if you're hanging live. We will get to some of the peanuts and Cracker Jacks here in just a tiny bit. Little rookie lookie, some rookies that have just been hot. Colson Montgomery, 2 for 4, now hitting 256, 7 homers, just under his first 100 plate appearances. He's got 23 RBI. Very vindicated, I feel. I remember, I think I may have brought him up once or twice on the prospecting segment, but Colson Montgomery's been awesome. This one feels really good because I'm the only person that ever has talked about this guy, and unfortunately, it has been in the negative for the last year and a half. But Jacob Marte, if you followed me in the Arizona Fall League a couple years ago, I was oohing about him. I had some scouts that were and then it did not work out. Jacob Marte, 3 games up with the Marlins. He has 8 at bats. He has, I believe, 6 or maybe it's 4 hits, 4 extra base hits. He has more walks than strikeouts. He looks like an absolute demon right now. He's a high OBP guy. He's walking. He's making some really good contact. Just throwing it out there. Jacob Marte has been dude level, and that is an old school guy for me. And then another hot rookie, Warming Burnable, who's hitting 500, 14 of 28. He's got 3 homers, 8 RBI through 7 here. Any thoughts? Are you Warming Burnable, Jacob Marte, even Colson Montgomery? What's your pickup level on all 3 of these guys?
So for Colson Montgomery, some of the underlying data worries me a little bit still. I mean, this is a phenomenal way to start your career, no question. But he's still got a 17% swing strike rate, 78% zone contact rate. Those are not great numbers. I would say that if somebody is super excited about Montgomery right now, they're in big need of a third baseman or something, maybe throw him in as a second piece in a 2-for-1 trade if somebody's willing to buy. Because I think for the rest of the season, I think that he is somebody that you can kind of move on from. Not the drop, but I think if you can sell high on him, you probably should. Marte is almost like if another version of Chandler Simpson with a little bit less speed and more power, I think.
Yeah.
Welsh can speak more to the prospect side of it, but that's kind of what the general profile looks like. Really good on-base skills, like you mentioned. I think that he is probably the most viable pickup in this group. But we're at the time of year where you're looking for specific categories. If you're in a roto league, you can know where you are, where you need to catch up. If it's speed, Jacob Marte is a fantastic ad. With Warming Burnable, I mean, Vlad Sedler made the joke that as soon as you pick him up, he's going to be cooling Burnable because this is not something that you can really expect to
I'm not into him.
Maintain for the long run. If you want to pick him up right now while they're still in Coors, my Blue Jays are there for the next 3 days. Maybe you get another couple home runs out of him or, a good couple of games just riding out the end of the hot streak, but I don't think that he's somebody that's like a must roster player. I'd probably prioritize it as Marte, Montgomery, and then Burnable.
Those are some prospects that are up in the majors. You might have thought it's done, but friends, it's not done. Yes, we still have an August where we are prospecting with me, the Welsh. Yes, we are still going to be prospecting. We're going to be talking about some prospects that we could be seeing up this month. Obviously, the season is ticking down a bit. There are some big names that are on people's minds. There's some prospects that you might not just know. If I'm being frank with you, things are going to really pick up in the back half of August and September where we're going to get crazy names, but there's still some guys we should take a look at. So let's do that. And let's kick it off with probably the most popular name of all the names that we've talked about a bunch, Bubba Chandler. Yes, the Bubba Chandler watch has been, gray beards, adding 12 years to our lives, just waiting for Bubba Chandler to come up. Will he ever come up? Here's what I say to you. I don't care. And no, he's never coming up. Bubba, so this is the negative we're going to start here. He cannot string good starts together. After starting the month hot, he had his first 2 starts where I believe he went 6, gave up no earned runs. We were like, okay, sweet. We're going to start getting into it. 5 earned runs in his last start on July 30th. He walked 4, struck out 2. He's now given up 12 earned runs over his last 3 starts. Now, maybe the good news is that he has gone 5 innings in 4 of the 5 of his last 5 starts. So that's good. But regardless, if the Pirates do bring him up, because I think they've screwed this situation up. That's my personal take on this. There's definitely Bubba Chandler issues in this, but I think in how they've used him, there could be confidence issues across. I feel like this has been screwed up. What were the Pirates playing for? Let's figure this out at the major league level. They've screwed this entire thing up. So my main point is I don't care if he comes back up because I'm not sure we're going to all feel a little bit interested. The walks have been an issue all season long. He still has a great big power fastball. He'll be a strikeout option. I don't think he's going to have clean innings, and he doesn't really go super deep into it. So I'm at a level where I don't really care anymore. I know we had people last week asking, should we stash? No, you should not have any stashing of redraft in Bubba Chandler. But Orrico, what do you think? If he gets called up, will you have any interest?
I think I will, just because there's a part of me that has kind of spun this narrative in my head of he's not performing well in the minors because he's just bored at this point. There's no reason for him to be there. You know how many starts he's made in the minors in his career? 80. He's made 80 minor league starts, which is just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And I think that there is a part of him that's probably like, what am I doing here? I'm just kind of spinning wheels, wasting time. Maybe when he gets called up, if he ever gets called up, that'll kind of change something in him of, okay, and now it's go time. how much go time will it possibly be pitching for the Pirates this year? I'm not sure. But if he does get called up, it'll be hard for me to not stick him into the lineup. I've been holding him in TGFBI the whole season. And I feel like at this point, if he gets called up, I'm going to have to put him in the lineup.
August 15th is a super important date. That's the date where players, if they get called up after, cannot accrue 45 days on the major league roster, which would lose their prospect eligibility. So the reason you want to know that is teams can manipulate like the innings or at bats so they don't graduate, and then they don't graduate just by hanging on the roster. So after August 15th, any guy could come up and they could still have all that extra stuff for next year. So I definitely think the Pirates will at some point soon be like, hey, you've earned this. We're going to give you a shot. He gets 2 or 3 starts at the majors. I'm just not sure the level I care anymore. And that's the big thing. And that August 15th date is important probably to every single guy that we're going to talk about and as we move forward. So let's go to the next player here. We're moving to some guys that I think, or at least this guy that I think it is very close. And I think there was word out that the Orioles were considering him. I've talked about him a couple times. Dylan Beavers with the Baltimore Orioles. Beavers, big dude, big stats, 16 homers, 22 stolen bases, 307 batting average, 421 OBP. Beautiful. Beavers finished July hitting 291, 16 homers, and 14 stolen bases. So went nuts there. And then on August 3rd, his most recent game, they're off on Mondays, he had a 9 total base game hitting 2 homers. Now, Orioles are doing nothing. They're not playing for anything, but they are playing to develop. Kobe Mayo's got to develop. I think a lot of people focus on Basayo. I think Beavers is the guy that we've got to look at in the outfield, especially after they traded Cedric Mullins. Some interesting stuff versus his AAA underlying stuff versus this year. Last year, average EV, 83 miles per hour. This year, it's up to 89. Max EV, 104. This year, up to 110. And his hard hit percentage, he's not a big monster hard hit guy, even though he's a big dude, 6'5", 206. His hard hit percentage was around 20% in AAA last year, 38% this year. So is he going to be this big masher? I don't know, but it's going to benefit is the ballpark for him. So I'm a big buyer of the Beavers. Are you a buyer of the Beavers there, Orrico?
Just looking at like what they're trotting out there, Dylan Carlson in center, Jeremiah Jackson as the designated hitter. Like, what are we doing here? Call up Beavers. I think Heston Kierstad might be hurt or something, or he's been playing pretty poorly, so maybe he doesn't get another call up this year. But play the kids. Like, what are we doing? Play them or trade them. Do something in Baltimore, and they don't seem to want to do either. They want to keep them in the minors or bring them up and put them on the bench.
And he's probably one of the most interesting close to AAA prospects I think that you should pay attention to right now. We've had so many of these guys that are up. If you're actually looking for offensive impact when he gets called up, boom, but it might be like 11 days until they do it because of that deadline. Now, I got 3 other names for you, one more hitter and a couple pitchers that will blast through. Nobody has been hotter, though, over the last 2 weeks than JJ Wetherholt. JJ Wetherholt, who was drafted last year. We've seen so many of the drafted guys already come up. He is up to AAA already. Just went 3 for 5, 2-run homer, 3 RBI on Sunday in AAA. Since being called up to AAA, so these are his AAA numbers, 344 average, 6 homers, 12 of his 21 hits in AAA have been extra base. JJ Wetherholt, I've said this a bunch, has a Corbin Carroll-like quality to me on the infield. Body, swing. I'm just a big fan of his. He's got some crazy underlying stuff too for, like a smaller-ish guy, incredible bat speed, 92 average EV with a 52% hard hit rate. Plus, he's got a really good launch angle. There's a legitimate chance the Cardinals, we're going to take a look at him past August 15th. So if he comes up, I would pay attention to Wetherholt. And then 2 pitchers I want you guys to keep an eye on. Talked about this guy a decent amount, Robby Snelling. Robby Snelling with the Marlins. Unfortunately, we didn't see the trades happen. That's what we really wanted. We wanted like Cabrera or Alcantara to go because Snelling has been awesome. Most recent start, he went 6 innings, gave up 1 earned run, struck out 7, walked none. 7 straight starts. Robby Snelling has given up 2 or less, and he has gone 5 in 6 of those 7 starts. His velo has gone up this year, added like a mile per hour on everything. He looks absolutely dominant again. And the thing I will say that why we're putting him on here is Jansen Junk has not been good. He's been giving up runs left and right that I think they're going to want to give and take a look at Robby Snelling towards the end of the year. And then the last one is a trade deadline relative player, Kohl Drake, who was with the Texas Rangers, traded to the Arizona Diamondbacks. You can see 25 years old, big lefty. Diamondbacks are depleted across the board. The pitching staff just hurt and unperforming. Kohl Drake is super interesting. He's got a 3.3 ERA on the year, 92 strikeouts over 78 innings. But he's got 4 starts in the PCL. The PCL is a tough place to pitch, really tough place to pitch. And it's gotten to him a little bit. His first start with the Diamondbacks in the PCL, he went 5, gave up 4 earned runs, but he only walked 1, struck out 5. In that start, though, nice low whip, obviously, around 1. He's got like a 6 ERA with the Rangers in the PCL. I think the environment really hurts, but he's got a good strikeout to walk ratio. And I like his stuff a lot. Fastball, sinker, both around 93. He's got this low velo sweepery slider that's around 82, but he's lowered his usage to throw more changeup for strikeouts. It's already been talked about by the Arizona media that we are going to see Drake this season. I don't think the Diamondbacks are going to want to lose control. So I think after August 15th, Kohl Drake is going to get called up. We'll see as long as he maintains like the homer stuff, but a sinker ball pitcher, a lefty in the Diamondback Stadium, I think he is a guy that we're going to want to spot start when he's picked up. So Drake, Snelling, Wetherholt, Beavers, and not Bubba Chandler. Those are a lot of the guys that we are taking a look at as we prospect with me, the Welsh, doing all that. All right. Let's answer a few questions, and then we're going to kind of plow through our 3 up, 3 down, talk about some injuries, and get you guys some bets here. Getting to the community, start 4 for this week from Jay Chow. Manaea, Woodruff, Glasnow, Snell, Chris Sanchez, DeGrom, and Cease. Well, this has got to be the Sanchez, DeGrom, Glasnow. That's not going to be, and Cease probably, right? Are we having much discussion there?
You got to sit 3 of them. It's probably Manaea, Glasnow, and Snell. So you start Woodruff.
You're going to sit Glasnow.
Well, maybe not. Maybe
and
you sit
Snell?
Woodruff. Well, Snell was pretty
yeah,
pedestrian in that first start. I mean, it's a really good problem to have here. I think I'm starting Cease, DeGrom, Sanchez, and then maybe Woodruff as the 4th, just considering how he's looked.
I'm down with that. That's a tough one. There's probably some 2-start stuff in there. Should I start Lauer against Colorado? I am a pretty known Lauer guy. So, yes, I'm actually going to be playing on the bets for him this week. Yeah, he's maintained his homers pretty well. I mean, in the month of July, he gave up 2. He hasn't had a month where he's given up more than 3 homers across his starts. His stuff has been so good. Colorado swings through. So I say yay for Lauer.
Yeah, I mean, historically, he has had a home run problem. It just hasn't really been there this year. 8% homer to fly ball, less than a homer per 9. He's been a revelation this year. Who would have thought, Welsh, the big pitching pickups of the year were Trevor Rogers and Eric Lauer? But he's been great, man. I'd start him.
Just like how we all wrote it up. Lee says, is Casey Mize worth a 2-start week against 2 garbage teams, Minnesota and the Angels?
I would say yes. Yeah.
Minnesota, yeah, I think that one came up a couple times. Van Rod also asked it. So
Minnesota stinks right now.
Yeah, that lineup. I saw you put out that tweet after the trade deadline. It's like, what are we doing with this lineup?
I got some pushback, too, from people that like, this is a pretty solid lineup. I'm like, can you leave your fandom at the door for a second? This is brutal.
Why is that? What are they arguing is solid about the lineup?
They're homers, and I get it. You got to defend your team to a certain extent, but like, let's be honest here.
We got to be, we got to be real enough that it's like, that's fine if you're like, hey, that lineup isn't that bad. But when you play the comparison game against the rest of the league, no, it's a pile of garbage. It's one of the worst lineups in baseball. So let's not fool ourselves. Muscle Hamster. Shout out to, what was that, Doug Martin? Shout out to Doug Martin. What do we do? Oh, that's Casey Mize. Yeah, so we just talked about that. I didn't even see that. All right. Let's see if we can do this novel. Hey, pros, I'm in first by 8 games and a 10 team. Trade deadline is Thursday with 5 weeks before playoffs. How much does Woods' prolonged slump scare you? We just talked about that. I can keep him in the 14th next year, but you could also trade him for any 2 of Turner, Schwarber, Duran. Okay, so that's the question there. He's been stinky. If you could get Turner and Schwarber, but he's a keeper, are you doing it? And because he said he is in first by 8 games. I cannot do that. I cannot trade away a 14th round James Wood, but clearly adding Schwarber and Turner is just going to help your team. So this is a flags fly forever issue.
Yeah, or even like Schwarber and Duran if you really need saves, like any combination there. I think you could make it work. But
I assume that was Jhoan Duran.
Oh, maybe. Because
he was talking offensive players.
Yeah.
I mean, Jhoan Duran would be a whole nother thing, but I assume Jhoan.
Yeah, I think Wood in the 14th is essentially, we use the word free a lot, but that's a freebie right there. So I think you're probably keeping that. The fact that you're already in first, you're in a pretty good spot. If you were in like third or fourth and you were really making the push, I could maybe see it, but I think you're standing pat with Wood.
Trade $10 sale for a $25 cease. I'm in first and want to go for win. He's looking to save money for next year. Plus, he's a Braves fan. So this is like, I mean, if you want to win, I feel like you're already answering this. I kind of wish you could get a little bit better, but Cease is on the rebound. I'd probably do it because I don't know what the hell's going on with Sale.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
When's Orrico coming back to Arizona so we can hang? I think we all know the answer to that.
November 5th this year, November 6th. I'll be coming in on the Wednesday, playing around the golf with Bubba and Ryan Bloomfield on the Thursday. And then we got the festivities all weekend. We might be sneaking into the podcast room once or twice to record. And we'll be around at the Sheridan Mesa, I think the hotel is called. So come by, say hello. We'll have a couple beers and talk some baseball.
Yeah, if you want to meet all your favorite baseball analyst people in fantasy, make sure you're coming out to Arizona. And I will say hi. I will say everybody. Shout out to Donnie, my boy Donnie. Donnie, down the street. What's up, Donnie? All right, let's get back into a few of these things. 3 up and 3 down. That's where we at, right? Yeah. On the up, Spencer Horwitz, 3 for 5, 2 homers, 3 runs, 6 RBI against the Rockies. Brice Turang, 2 for 6 with a couple double dongs, 2 runs, 4 RBIs as they beat the Nationals. And Edward Cabrera picked up the victory. Just keeps doing it, throwing 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, gave up 1 earned run against the Yankees. On the down, Frankie Montas allowing 7 hits, 7 earned runs while walking 2 and allowing 7 hits, just getting blown up. We mentioned Luis Heel, the 4 walk batters, only 3 1/3. Ryan McMahon, golden sombrero, not a Cinco Stinko, but 0 for 4 with the 4 Ks against the Marlins. We were so close. On the injuries, this is a bigger piece of news. Aaron Judge is going to take BP today, and he's expected to come off the IL tomorrow and DH until his elbow is 100% back. So this is huge for that Yankees team that's kind of falling apart. I probably could have put this in with the whole like Yankee stuff before, but we were talking negative. This is a huge positive for everybody, fantasy owners, and this Yankees team that's on I think one of the most embarrassing 3-game series, not just losing to the Marlins, but like the blow up, the guys you traded for, the botched plays. It's a disaster. Aaron Judge is here to save. And is Aaron Judge going to reclaim his odds-on favoriteness for MVP?
I think he probably does, just based on the fact that he was out for, I think it was a minimum 10-day stint.
Yeah.
The fact that it's an elbow, you really wonder what that could do to his swing, if that's going to mess things up in the long run. But if I'm betting today, remove the odds from the equation, I think Aaron Judge is probably the MVP.
I think that's going to be as well. Like, I'm not sure. I mean, I think he's still minus money though, isn't he? And he's probably moved to minus money because he's close. Like if you got, I don't love betting like a season long future at like even money or minus money or anything like that. But it's just like, you want to do it. He's probably somewhere between like minus 110, maybe he's plus 150 at best or something like that. Probably going to change a little bit here, but Aaron Judge is going to be coming back tomorrow. Jonathan Aranda will not be back tomorrow. Placed on the IL Friday after fracturing his wrist, but he says that he still expects to play this season. No thanks. Fractured wrist. No thanks. Not that he's a big home run hitter, makes a lot of contact, but that looked bad. It was right on trade deadline day. Just ran right in, fractured wrist. That stuff usually takes a month. So I would imagine like he would come back in September. I have almost no interest in him. Even that's going to be zapped power and just nope. So I would bail out on him if there's anything good out there. You?
Yeah, I have him in my home league, which has IL spots. So I put him on the IL. But I think if you're dealing with limited IL spots or no IL spots, you can probably cut him, as sad as it's been. Great season. Fantastic year, but time to move on.
Peace out. Austin Riley had to leave Sunday's game with abdominal pain and then was placed on the IL. So that's not fun. Tommy Edman continues to re-injure his sprained ankle, likely to go on the IL. That is a win for Joe Pisapia on the Kevin Gossman stuff. Max Muncy expected to be activated today after missing about a month. So that'll be the intertwining Tommy Edman moves. Alejandro Kirk was reinstated from the concussion IL. He was active on Sunday. Seth Halverson was placed on the 15-day IL with an elbow sprain. Kyle Bradish had a rough rehab outing in AAA, allowing 7 runs, 6 hits while striking out only 3. Chandler Simpson is probable to return to the Rays lineup on Tuesday. He had a finger sprain. Luckily, none of that stuff really matters with him. Just swing it flat and run. And Jackson Churio had a little PRP injection and is going to potentially start his rehab now. But we're talking maybe about a month still. So that there's no actual timetable, but there was this inferred potential month that's in front of him. So getting the injection, he's going to work through it, probably going to downtick his production a little bit, right, Joe? I don't feel super optimistic that we're going to get like a good version of Chourio the rest of the way through.
Yeah, it's a tough situation because you can't really drop him. He's been really good. Outside, there's been some ups and downs, but overall, he's been like a second or third rounder. You kind of just have to hold on to him, and when he's healthy, you put him back in the lineup. Nobody's going to buy him from you right now. You're not dropping him. It's a tough situation to be in for sure.
It definitely is. All right, we got some stuff going down today. We got lots of games, and we've got lots of bets for the best bets of the day. So let's go do it. Let's take a look at what we got. Well, actually, I guess I'll go. I forgot. This is like the hosty thing where Joe goes first. I'll rattle off mine so we can get Orrico's. Here are my best bets for the day. I'm going to Eric Lauer, as mentioned before. That strikeout number against the Rockies, I might almost take any starting pitcher that's like 4 or 5 strikeouts over, and it's almost even money. Eric Lauer has had a pretty good run on strikeout percentage as well in the year, I believe. Let me pull it back up. I want to say it was 26% with a 6% walk rate. So I'm going to take that all day, especially against this Rockies team. So 105, probably my favorite of the day. Phillies run line, -1.5. It's the full run line, full game. It is even money. I am absolutely jumping on that opportunity to take Phillies on the run line. And then I am going up against my guy, Brandon Pfaadt, who just cannot go deep into games, and he struggles against lefties. Hello, Ryan O'Hearn, new San Diego Padre in Arizona. I'm taking total bases, 1.5 over for him. He'll be down the lineup a tiny bit. I don't have good feelings about Pfaadt, especially against lefties. And I think Ryan O'Hearn is going to, I honestly, we might have a big fly in here, but I'm going to take the total bases over on plus money for Ryan O'Hearn against Brandon Pfaadt. What you got, Joe Orrico?
I really like the Ryan O'Hearn bet. That one I think I might be holding hands with you on. But I'm going Mike Soroka in his Cubs debut. I've been a Mike Soroka fan for a while. I don't know if it's the Canadian part of it or the underlying stats, whatever it is. I've liked Mike Soroka for a long time. And I think that if you just look at what he's done on the surface this year, it's pretty unimpressive. But the strikeout rate has been pretty solid for him. So over 5.5 strikeouts against the Cincinnati Reds, a team with a bottom 10 strikeout rate in the league at plus 130, getting a nice number on that one. Adrian Hauser making his Tampa Bay Rays debut. This one kind of surprised me. The over 3.5 strikeouts was juiced, so I wanted to pair it with something. And the Rays money line was plus money going up against the Angels and Yusei Kikuchi. That one feels like a pretty good bet to be making on Adrian Hauser, who's been great this year. I don't expect that he'll maintain this pace for the rest of his career. He's been fairly lucky overall, but it's a good matchup there against an inferior opponent in the Angels. And then Hunter Goodman. This one is courtesy of the Betting Pros prop bet cheat sheet. Plus 145, over 1.5 total bases, righty versus lefty on Eric Lauer today. This one feels pretty good for a guy who's been very, very hot this year. So 3 nice plus money bets for you today.
You want to check out the prop cheat sheet? You can do that on Betting Pros. Go and download the Betting Pros app today. It is never too late to do it. You can check out the prop cheat sheet itself on the web as well, bettingpros.com/MLB props. But if you go and download the app, you can use it for baseball, all other sports, and you get a 7-day free trial by using the code leading off. That bad boy will give you 7 days for full access to everything. There's lots of picks in there. There's articles, advanced stuff. There's a good community feel going on. You can track your bets and more. So you can download the app today and you can peruse the prop cheat sheet and a whole bunch more. And then you can also use FanDuel if you want. $5 bet, get you $250 if your first bet wins. FantasyPros.com/leading off. Go and use that today. By the way, shout out to some of our new people that have been in here. I know we had I think it was Brandon ABK with the follow. We had Soda as a first-time chatter. Coach Be Smooth with the follow. So thanks for everybody on the follows, the subs, getting rid of ads, and then, of course, Van Rod rocking out with the cheers. That leads us to the home run board. I think we do have an updated home run board from the weekend. Whips has the lead, my friends, 45. Whips is your home run leader. George and Positive Grouch. Did Positive Grouch come out of nowhere? They're both tied at 44. They're right there. Far Out at 42. The Fisher King at 42. Bees at 41. Those are 6 that are within 4 homers of each other. Top 6 on the board. Wonky got pushed down a little bit at 36. 15 on the board. Joe and I are not there. I have no idea if I hit one this weekend. I'm just too far off. It's too far to get on this board. But someone's going to be winning that Sammy Sosa autographed jersey. You guys can also do the home run bets for next season if you want to prep on our Discord, or if you grab a sub, you are eligible to do the home run contest. So just keep that in mind for next season. Joey, who do you got for your home run call for today?
I'm feeling hot. I hit the last one when I was here last week, which was Cal Raleigh. And today we're going Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at Coors Field. He's hit 3 homers over the last week. He's been phenomenal this year. I mean, he's not a first-round fantasy. Like, he's not paying up for that first-round fantasy price you paid for him. But Vladdy's had a phenomenal season once again.
Ketel Marte for me. JP Sears in Arizona. Little lefty action. Little Ketel Marte leading at the top of the lineup. Yes, we are going to back Ketel Marte, even though I'm going against Brandon Pfaadt, for a big fly for my home run call for the day. That is it, friends. So, as a reminder, the schedules in August have changed a little bit. There is no Tuesday show. No, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But Orrico and I will be back again on Wednesday with a little bit more to talk about. We're going to make it a little bit more of an effort in every show to make sure we are talking and answering some questions. And they'll probably all be just like a tad bit longer. So, like, the secret sauce of it is you might actually get, like, even though we're doing 3, you might get the equivalent of like 4 shows or 4.5 every single week. So it'll be Orrico and I on Wednesday, and then Bubba tags in with Orrico on Friday. So make sure you are subscribed on the follow, at least on the Twitch, twitch.tv/fantasypros, youtube.com/fantasypros MLB, where the videos come up an hour after, and on the podcast. So 3 different places, whether it's audio or visual mediums that you want. Follow Joe Orrico 99. Follow me at Is It The Welsh. Thank you to Seth and Callie. We are out of here. Peace. Goodbye. And we will talk to you next time right here on Fantasy Pros MLB. Peace out.
We're not homers at all, Welsh. You picking Marte for the homer, me picking Vladdy. I just realized.
I didn't even realize that. Oh, what's it, Diamondbacks and Blue Jays?
That's good stuff.
That'll be fun. Stupid homers.